You know, I never thought my life would turn into one of those stories you hear about where everything you believe gets flipped upside down, and suddenly you're fighting for the truth in ways you never imagined. Back in 2018, after my wife passed in that awful car accident up in the hills outside Seattle, I was left alone with our little boy, Tommy, in this old Victorian house we'd bought in a quiet suburb of Tacoma. Everyone said Tommy was born totally deaf, no reactions to noise, no babbling like other kids, and doctor after doctor confirmed it. So I built my whole world around that silence, pouring money into gadgets, therapies, you name it, but nothing ever broke through, leaving me feeling like I was talking to a shadow. It tore me up inside. You see, every morning I'd sit with him, signing stories about brave kids who conquered the world without a word, hoping for just a flicker in his eyes. But Tommy would stare out the window, clutching that ratty stuffed bear, completely blank. I wasn't angry at him. No way. I was just exhausted, grieving my wife and wondering if I'd ever hear my son's voice, or if this emptiness was our forever. Then Sarah showed up, a soft-spoken housekeeper I'd hired on a whim, fresh off her own heartbreak after losing a baby, looking for a place to hide from the world like I was. She didn't chatter or pry. She just moved through the house like a gentle breeze, organizing shelves, leaving little things for Tommy, a cozy blanket here, a picture book there, and I noticed how she watched him, not with pity, but with this quiet curiosity that made me think, maybe she's seeing something I'm missing. Things started shifting slowly. At first, Sarah would drop a spoon by accident, and I'd swear Tommy flinched, his shoulders twitching just a bit, but I'd brush it off as wishful thinking. But she kept at it, testing, gently tapping a broom handle softly, walking with heavier steps, and one day, she found this old earbud in a drawer, hooked it to her phone, and played the softest melody near his ear. Tommy's eyes widened, his head tilted like he was chasing a whisper, and then God, I'll never forget the murmured, heard. Mama, so faint it could have been the wind, but it hit me later like a freight train when she showed me. That word, Mama, it wasn't random, it was buried deep, a memory stirring from before the silence swallowed him whole. That's when the real storm hit. Sarah dug into an old cabinet in the back room, found bottles of meds with Tommy's name scrawled on them, dated back years, and after some late-night Googling and calling an old nurse friend, we learned the truth. Those pills, prescribed by this shady doc named Harlan who'd lost his license for running secret drug trials on kids for some pharma payoff, could wreck a child's hearing nerves if given too long. Harlan had sold me on them as a miracle stabilizer after Tommy's rough birth, said it'd calm his nerves, prevent seizures, or whatever, but it was all a lie, a cash grab that turned my boy silent, not born that way. I confronted him over the phone once we pieced it together. You poisoned my son for what? A fat check. I yelled, and he just stammered, Mr. Ellis, you signed the forms. It's not that simple, his voice dripping with that smug deflection, but I could hear the panic, the weasel trying to slither away. We didn't let it slide. Sarah and I teamed up, gathering records, videos of Tommy reacting to sounds after we ditched the meds, his first real smiles, even short words like music when she'd play tunes. We sued the bastard, and in court, it got ugly. Harlan on the stand, smirking at first, saying, these parents exaggerate it's coincidence. But when other families testified about their kids' ruined hearing from his trials, the jury saw through it, and the judge slammed the gavel, guilty on all counts, unethical practices, endangering minors. Walking out that day, with Tommy hugging Sarah tight and whispering, home now, it felt like the sun finally breaking through years of fog, electric, satisfying, like the climax of some indie film where the underdog flips the script. But here's where it gets tricky, and I still wrestle with it. Was I blind too, trusting Harlan without digging deeper because I was drowning in grief? Or is the system rigged, letting docs like him prey on desperate folks? Tommy's thriving no speech therapy, banging on a keyboard, making his own little songs, even got honored at a school event where he said, Sarah heard me first, her heart, pointing right at her, tears all around. Our house echoes with laughter these days, not silence, and Sarah's family now, adopting him legally, turning us into this patchwork unit that's stronger for the breaks. What do you think? Was justice served, or should parents like me share the blame? Drop a comment below, share your take on blind trust in doctors, or those hidden pharma scandals. Love to hear if you've got a story like this. Hit subscribe if you want more real-life twists, and let's chat.